Hey, welcome. We're back in our Cavernwood colony, and after our tubeways were laid down last time, they seem to be working quite well. The beavers really are seeming to enjoy them. So, that's going good, but this time I think we need to take a little caution here. And, well, first of all, we got to switch our gates back. I don't think the switching mod is quite up to date. The switching mod actually might be the automatic gate switcher, but I think it relies on Timber API, which has not been updated for 7 yet. So we'll have to wait on that to get the automatic ones. We'll just have to work with what we have for now. Speaking of what we have, what I do want to have is a lot more what do you call it? Water intake, I guess you could say. So we're doing okay on water, but I would still really like more. Let's go ahead, just take all those out. We're gonna put in, let's see, there's 2 more, there's 3 more. We'll put in 3 more. We'll say that this is of high priority so that we can get those done so that we can increase our colony size. Now, for right now, I'm going to shut off 2 of those. I know that kind of goes against increasing our colony size, but I just want to make sure that we can max out the amount of water that we've got saved up so that we can start looking into food. Oh, let's let that gate in. There we go. There's some water in there. They are getting all of that in there, and once that's in there, we'll build our deep water pumps on top of it. We're not outlogs that much, and in fact, what I'd like to do to get maybe just a little bit more, we're going to do this, open that up. We'll get a little bit of bad water in there, but it'll be okay. And what I want to do, first of all, I want to change out this large power wheel. It uses 4 beavers, and right now it's for a good cause, but we could do so much better if we came over here and we grabbed one of the engines. We've got enough resources, we've got enough science for it, so we're going to start on that. And then I actually want to move some of the metal production over here, so that once this is done, in fact, let's make sure there's a beaver in there while the water's still flowing, that we can get metal blocks for this, and we can get some metal blocks in case we need to make more tubeway. The tubeway doesn't take a ton of metal blocks, but it still takes some. So we'll get those in. We'll toss in a couple of storages here as well. And we can just use these for taking in scrap metal and putting out blocks. There we go. That should come in here in a second. Looks like they're getting those in, so let's get these in. We'll say that those are very high priority as well. They've got another one of these, so let's get that in there. And we'll get that one set up. We'll make sure that people go in here so that we can be pulling in some water while we can. There we go. And that'll do for now for water. I think we should be okay. They can start on some of the other stuff. Once they have this in and we're building more blocks, we'll probably come over and switch this wheel out. That way we just have plenty of metal blocks coming in and going out. However, there is one other thing that I wanted to make sure that we took a look at. We've got this area here that hopefully stays mostly wet during the dry and bad tides. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to put up probably, let's say right about there, right in the middle. That should do. Across the way, we'll put in 1, and then we'll do 2 here and maybe 2 here. And if you're wondering what that's for, well, we're going to put in another forester here. And then, oh, instead of this, let's use a ladder. There we go. We'll face it that way is fine. We'll get some gatherer flags here. There we go. That should be able to reach most of it. We'll connect that in. Yeah, that looks good. And then we're just going to fill this with mangroves. So there we have another source of food. I don't quite need them in there, though. Not that they could plant them there, but let's remove them anyway. There we go. That looks good. So now we've got most sources of food. We're going to need to get the algae and the mushrooms eventually. But for now, that should hold us off. How is this doing? Let's bump this up to maybe 22 hours. Not much time for play, but that hopefully will raise our water just a little bit. Oh, there you go. Look at that. They've already got our logs in, and that's going pretty well. Now, the other thing that I really wanted to look into was dynamite, but for dynamite, we're going to need a couple of things. Well, first of all, I want to get the dynamite factories right across here, so we might as well take all this out. There we go. They can put in their stuff there. That looks good. And then we'll have to build another engine because these take exactly 400, which is exactly what that puts out. So we should be good there. However, we are going to need bad water, which means we need a bad water pump. And I think there looks like a pretty good place. Let's go ahead, come all the way over here. We'll put in... How about some storage for bad water over here? Storage, we'll put you right... how about right across from it? How about over here? That looks good. We'll do that. We'll make sure that that's set for bad water. There we go. And we'll just leave it the way it is for now. How are they doing over here? Looks like they've got a couple of those. I thought they had a couple of those, but not quite. Not yet. They're still working on that. In fact, do we have all four going? We should be okay there. We have plenty of unoccupied beds. We just kind of got to wait for beavers to catch up. Our food is doing okay. How are we doing on planks? We're not doing too bad, actually. Pause this to get a couple of extra beavers here and there. Probably could. This is back at 10. Let's take you to 8 for just a second. There we go. Do we need the berries? We can probably stop one berry there. And as for trees, we'll kind of go around and do what we can do on this. Let's see. We'll cut out maybe half of the tree cutters. We still are a bit low on logs, but hopefully we're okay, and that helps kickstart the economy just a little bit. Not to mention, we're going to have 5 extra here in less than a day because we're going to turn off all of these just to make sure that we keep water in here for as long as possible. So that's going pretty well. What do they need over here? Scrap metal? Are they really just low on scrap metal? Do I not have anybody gathering it? That pile's a little lower than I think I'd like it to be, so maybe we should find another pile. This one looks perfectly acceptable. Let's head over the mountains here. Or at least we'll set up to head over the mountains here. We'll go this way. Let's get maybe a bridge across there. I would like to eventually do more suspension bridges because they just look nice. We had somebody that one time just really always liked the suspension bridges that I put up, and I would love to do more of them. But we're a little short on resources at the moment, so we'll have to come back and fill in more bridges. There's our drought, so let's just raise this up. We're going to pause all these so we don't lose much water in there. We're going to raise this up so they will probably deplete most of this water over this 12-day drought. But hopefully if they get enough water, in fact, we might put in, let's do 2 more whenever they can get to it. And then we can save up even more water. Food is not doing terrible at the moment, so we'll let that go. Is there anybody... Fortunately, I tried the Find Idle Beavers mod, and it was not working yet either, so we'll have to wait on that one. We probably don't need beavers in these because there's not going to be mangroves for just a little while. So we've got a couple now back in our science huts. Hopefully that raises our science up just a bit. There we go. You don't need to be there, so go on out of there. And, well, that puts us at even for the moment until more of the beavers come in. We might actually, let's just undo one more and get a couple more in here. While we're thinking about that, let's go ahead and set them up for this. Because we're going to need, will we need another one? You know what, we're just going to build it anyway. We'll put that in there, and then they can kind of work with what they got when they got it. There we go. Man, they are taking their time on this scrap metal, aren't they? Maybe I should get these two things built first. No, these are definitely doing just fine. Are we out of scrap metal here? Yeah, they're just taking their time building it. So, not a big deal. We'll wait on that. Oh, we don't need these guys because, well, there's no way that those are going to go again. In fact, we can probably just take these out of there. We'll clean this back up. As nice as the Mystic Cave was for providing us with a little bit of power, don't think we need it, so we'll take back the resources, and maybe that'll help build this. Especially here. Are there... Here's scrap metal. Yeah, that might actually be helpful. Let's tell them to close that up first, or clean that up. We'll get that cleaned up. There we go. And once these... I hate it when they do this. They'll fill up everything, and then they're like, I'm done for the day. Let's go back down to maybe 18 hours instead of 22. I think we're okay at that point, at least. Our science is going up, which is good. So what we'll do is we'll just put you in there. Let's see if we can go ahead and grab our explosives factory. Yep, it's 400, so we can do that. Now, these are 150 apiece, so that leaves us with about 100 extra power. I'm thinking, let's see, we're going to do, well, let's do that lumber mill that we just took down. We'll get those back in there in just a few as well. We just need to get the resources back up and ready to go. We still don't really need that one open at the moment. They've got plenty of planks to catch up on. I think we're going to take a look at that. They've got logs all over the place here. In fact, we've got one extra beaver that we could put back in one of these logging places. I think that, or maybe we can add them back to the haulers. There we go. That'll get stuff moved around and set up. Should be good to go there. Got this. We've got all of that. So, I tell you what, during this shorter drought here, we'll hop out and come back and we'll see if we can get maybe some more of this stuff done. With that drought passed, and actually it went pretty well, we can turn everything back on. We're gonna once again be short on beavers, but that's okay. I think we're handling it all right. We've got this guy. His forester managed to plant a lot of this, not quite all of it, and some of the trees are starting to grow up, which is good. We can go ahead and let the water back in there. Same thing over here. We can suspend this guy so we're using less water overall. That should be fine. We've got a lot of this stuff over here in, so we can probably start that. And we have 700 science, which means we can go ahead and grab our first dynamite. In fact, what I'm going to do here is we're going to knock that down. Yep. And then we're going to place dynamite over here. Dynamite over here. There we go. We'll just go this way. Get all of this covered in dynamite. I'm hoping that we get these in there first. Let's say that's a little more important. This guy's a little less important. We'll get somebody in here. I'd like people making planks. There we go. Now we're pretty much set. Our food is still doing pretty well. I don't know what it is about cassavas, but I can never seem to keep those in. The beavers just really like those for some reason. But that's okay. We'll let that go. I'm going to set these to prioritize by haulers, because they're just a little bit farther away than all the other stuff is to these backup ones here. We've got a lot of trees here, and we could definitely just put in one of these to get logs saved up. Speaking of which, we could also come over here, since we are getting some eggplant. Oh, there's our bed tied already. Let's go ahead and we'll put one in here, and then we're going to put a whole nother row for the cooked eggplant. In fact, we could use this for mangroves. There we go. And we'll grab you, and that can go. And we'll connect these in. We'll go there. This one can be for the regular eggplants, and this one can be for the eggplant rations. There we go. That should work out just fine. We're still getting some science in. These guys are doing fine. Tell you what, let's go ahead and we'll take this out, and let's put in, not the power wheel, but the engine here. There we go. We'll say that's of pretty high priority, and then these guys can all come back, and that should run all the time without help from 4 beavers that can probably go somewhere in the colony, make it a little bit nicer. They've got some bad water in here. We've got 1 explosive already. Look at that. First explosive. Right there it goes. Now they can work on all of this. Let's get some roads in there, just so we know they can reach everything. There we go. That should be good, and that'll give us a little bit more water storage for these pumps to work from. But with the bad tide coming, we're going to lose this whole section again, even though we've been shutting off these pipes. So, not too big a deal. How are we doing lumber-wise? We're doing okay. In fact, we just got some more storage, so we're actually not bad there. Water is starting to fill up. As soon as they get done with this, this should come back online, and we should be good to go there as well. I just need to make sure that we're balancing everything out. Is this up or down? That is down. So everything should be filling. We've got this, that guy. Yep, we'll just keep going. Bad tide means we get to keep more bad water overall, or at least throughout the next season we'll still have bad water. We can make more dynamite, which is good. I think that'll be just fine. Maybe, just maybe though, it's time to look into, I don't know, possibly, well, let's get another one of these, since we are building, and take that out of there. We are building planks over here. Let's go ahead, put in our nice trusty ladder there. We'll set this up for planks so that we have plenty of storage here and there. These guys make it over there? Yep, they sure did. They're pulling stuff in. Do we have any more metal that's just out on the map? No, not there. There's a little bit up here, a little bit over here. Oh, there's a whole lot over here, so I'm not too worried about running out of scrap if we so happen to. And what is this? Is this another mystic cave here that we have water coming out of? Yeah, it kind of looks like it, actually. Might be going off the... Oh, nope, comes from there. What are these? Natural. These are all natural overhangs. So there's another cave where the water's coming out of. We might have to blow holes in that to figure that out. And then as for metal, after we get done with these ruins, I could have swore I saw... Ooh, before I do that, let's make sure all of this goes the right direction. No automatic gates yet. You go up, and you go up, and we'll turn all of these off. There we go. Yeah, that should work nicely. We've got all of that set up. You know what? These guys are having to walk a decent distance, so maybe with all the extra metal blocks that we're starting to make, maybe, just maybe, what do we need? Gears. I didn't leave myself enough gears. Smooth move, Eld. Smooth move. Let's get that set up, and then we'll turn off the stuff that we don't need. Let's do this. We'll say that's high priority. And then we do need planks. We don't quite need dynamite yet. I mean, we do, but we don't. So we'll go ahead and take all this out. It's going to reduce the volume of water just a little bit, but I think we'll make it through to the end. We've got a 20-day drought, so that's, or not a drought, I guess a bad tide. So I guess that's quite the good thing for the bad water. That'll give us plenty of time to make dynamite up. And how are we doing food-wise? We're a little lower than I'd like to be. So we're going to turn this back on. And I think once this comes back online, we'll have food again. But they can't make any food until that's done. And I can't really do much with this. So let's go ahead, turn these back on so that I know that I'm getting berries. So at least we have that much. We have the cassavas. Let's temporarily change you to kohlrabi so we can pull up all the kohlrabi we can get. There we go. This just needs planks, which let's prioritize that so we know that we're getting planks. And everything else should be okay. What? I could probably start putting in another layer here. I probably could have built these all upwards, which I might yet do just to save me some room. Put ladders on them. But let's worry about getting this gear workshop in and going from there. So we'll take a look after this bad tide and see where we're at. There we go. One dumb mistake fixed, but our food took a heck of a beating there. So we've got water, which is good, which means we can turn this on and hopefully keep this level up just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead. I switched these off of those, so we're going to switch those back to the cassavas and go from there. Over here, we've got a little bit of extra food hanging out. This guy, did he not say to plant that row? I guess. Once he's done with that row, we can pause that, though, and then that should hopefully give us a little bit of extra food, but one small mistake, and we went through almost all our food, so we're gonna have to be careful for a bit with that. We're about halfway through this bad tide, and our food seems to be taking off again now that this food center is mostly working. Our planks are recovering, which is good. We have gears, which also is good. Dynamite, well, as soon as we're making it's going to our field over here of multiple large areas of dynamite, which hopefully grants us some extra water there. But I did want to take, and I noticed that the walk from here to here is longer than I'd like, which now that we have tubes, every walk might just be longer than what I like. So we're going to go ahead and put in another tubeway here. And I'm just going to grab this. And we're going to say, let's put you there. And the tube can go in the back. And then we're good to go there. Now notice I put it kind of off of, I didn't go into this one because what happens, I've found, is that if you put it off of this one here, the beavers will have to come in here, exit the building, and then go back in to go here. But if you put in a bypass like this, they can still exit over here. But if they decided that they wanted to come from this two-way station to this one here, then they could just go directly there and not have to step outside and come back. Now, I haven't tested that in a while, so we'll have to see if that's still true, but that was the way when I first started making them, that those were happening. Luckily, they're still putting in these paths here, and hopefully they get in all of this here soon. But I think that's gonna do it for today. We did get our extra food in here. We've got our engines in, and we've got a nice little industrial area in here. Next time, we might do a storage area or possibly liven up our living area. And eventually, we're going to have to figure out how to fix this magic cave so that it stops spewing out bad water every so often. But we're going to do that another time. So as always, just want to say thank you very much for stopping by and hope to see you next time. Bye.